So we've moved on to chapter 5, and now we're going to learn how to write equations when you have some points on a line. And so want to do a quick review, first of all, of slope, because it's really going to be important for this process. So if we look here, what's the slope of this line? I'm going to treat this as line. This is 0.1 and this is 0.2, so it's going to be change in y, 1 or 0 minus negative 1 over 4 minus 2. That's going to be equal to 1 over 2. So the slope is 1/2. Going to pause here for a second, and you try the next one. So there we go. The slope should be 4 for that one. Another problem here, it says your landscape architect charges $75 and a consulting fee of $30 per hour, and or for a consulting fee and $30 per hour. Write an equation that shows the cost C as a function of time. So that means the cost is going to immediately be $75, but it's also going to be plus 30 times T, because it's $30 per hour and $75 no matter what, just for consulting. So that'd be an example. If we wanted to put that in slope-intercept form, it would look like this. So here's some things to keep in mind. In the formula for slope, which values represent the rise, that's going to be the y2 minus y1. What represents the run, that's going to be x2 minus x1. So this first one is the change up and down. This one is the change left and right. What's the formula for slope? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What's a y-intercept? That's where it crosses that's where a line crosses the y-axis. So where is it on the graph? Well, it's on the y-axis. If you look at a coordinate point, how can you tell if it's the y-intercept? Well, once again, because it's on that y-axis, that vertical axis there. If we have a line it goes through, that's going to be the y-intercept. What is the slope-intercept form equation of a line? That's going to be the y equals mx plus b. Which value represents the slope? That's going to be m. Which represents the y-intercept? That's going to be b. And what do the x and y values represent? Those are points on the line, or solutions to the equation. Either way, same thing. So here we have, write an equation of a line with a slope of 1/2 and y-intercept of -7. So we're still using that format. So it's going to be y is equal to 1/2 x, because that's the slope. And it's going to be -7, because that's the y-intercept. Here, my y-intercept is right here. And then I can calculate the slope since I've got 2 points. So to calculate the slope, I'm going to choose this as 0.2 and this is 0.1. 2 minus -1. I'm choosing my y values there. And then I'm going to go ahead and for my x values, it's going to be 0 minus 2. So I'm going to be left with 3 over -2. The way I taught you is this idea: keep the negative with the top number, just move it up there. So that's -3 over 2. Means it goes down 3 every time it goes over 2. So I've got my y-intercept, that's there. So that's 2, and now I've got my slope here. So my line is going to be, that's my slope, and then plus 2. That's my y-intercept. Similar sort of problem here, except for the slope is pretty much already included here. Slope is going to be up 5 over 3, so a slope of 5/3. The y-intercept is -2, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. So this line is going to be y is equal to 5/3 x minus 2. And you're done. If you have it set this way, that's what you do. So in this situation here, it says here, write an equation of the linear function f with the values f of 0 is equal to 3 and f of negative 4 is equal to 11. Now we talked about function notation. The important thing is to recognize that f of 0 equals 3 just means the point 0, 3. F of negative 4 is equal to 11 just means the point negative 4, 11. So it says here calculate the slope of the line that passes through the 2 points. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this as 0.2, this is 0.1. So my y value for 0.2 minus my x value, or minus my y value for 0.1 over my x value for 0.2 minus my x value for 0.1. So that's going to end up being 8 over negative 4, which is going to be equal to negative 2. So I've got my equation here, negative 2 in front of the x. So the function is f of x. I'd write it like this. Negative 2 is my slope, just like you remember y equals mx plus b format. But one really important thing to note is that that is actually my y-intercept, because check it out, when x is 0, it's where it crosses the y-axis, y is going to be 3, so it's plus 3. That's my b value. And if ever you have a situation like this where you have 0 as the x, then you've got the y-intercept right next to it. So I'm going to try a couple of these here. Remember, this point is going to be 0, 7. And we already know b is going to be equal to 7. And then this is 12, 15. So we're going to figure out the slope. Take this as 0.2, this is 0.1, 15 minus 7 over 12 minus 0. It's going to be 8 over 12, which simplifies to 2 over 3. So my line is going to be y equals 2/3 x plus 7. In function form, it would be f of x is equal to 2/3 x plus 7. Going to do this bottom one here, and then you can try the middle one. Same situation here. I immediately know, because I got that 0 there, that my b value is going to be 6. So now I just have to figure out my slope. Remember, this point is 3, negative 12. And this is 0, 6. So my change in y, if this is 2 and this is 1, 6 minus negative 12 over 0 minus 3. So that's going to be, let's see here, it's going to be 18 over negative 3. So that's going to be a slope of negative 6. So now I know that when I have my equation would be y is equal to mx plus b. My slope is 6. So 6x, then negative 6x, sorry, because my slope is negative 6. And that's going to be plus 6 for the value of the y-intercept. So I'm going to do this one here. I'm going to ask you to pause for a minute and try it yourself, and then we'll see if you're able to do it correctly. So there we go. The slope is going to be negative 2, and the y-intercept is going to end up being 21. So the equation is going to be that. So a new problem here. This one's a word problem. It says your dance academy charges $20 to use the facility and $25 per hour of instruction. Write an equation that gives the total cost to learn to dance at the academy as a function of hours of instruction. So I'm going to write this in function form. It's going to be the f of x is equal to, so that's going to be the cost is equal to, well, it's going to be $20 to start with, plus 25 times x, because it's per hour. And there x is going to be the hours, and f of x is the cost. So now to figure out the total cost of 2 hours of instruction, that would be function's value when it's 2, so 20 plus 25 times 2. That's going to be, for 2 hours, it's going to end up being, well, that's going to be 50, so it's going to be $70. That's how it works. So when you write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, you can just treat it as if it's like this, even if it's function form. You have 2 points on the graph. If one of them is the y-intercept, then you immediately have that b value there to figure out quickly. And then you figure out slope, and you plug in that where the m value is, and you got it done. So that's what you're going to do, and we're all done.